Wisconsin agriculture. It's more than just animals and crops. We've come a long way since Old MacDonald had a farm. According to the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Department of Agriculture and Applied Economics, Wisconsin farmers earned a record net farm income of $2.4 billion in 2011. Due to the drought conditions of 2012, they may not see those numbers for a while. How will these conditions affect Wisconsin farmers in the coming months? How will those conditions affect our communities? Agricultural education plays an important role in the state's farming economy. Today we are broadcasting from the Busy Barns Adventure Farm in Fort Atkinson. They're not your normal, everyday farm. They grow memories and harvest fun. It's an agricultural education activity center, and we're going to bring you some of that fun. We hope to answer some of your questions too. So sit back and enjoy our special Teen Day Busy Barns Adventure Farm Media Day broadcast presented by 91.7 The Edge, the Daily Jefferson County Union, and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm here with Andy Jorgensen.
Hi, Alex. Nice to be here.
It's nice to have you here. You want to tell us about you?
Sure. I'm a state representative. I've served the 37th Assembly District at our state assembly in our state's capital. And through redistricting, I'm going to be running for a new numbered district, the 43rd Assembly District, this coming November 6th.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's different territory. It's geographical, if you will. Every 10 years, we have the census takes a snapshot of our state. We see where people have moved in, moved out of our state, moved around in our state, and the assembly districts are based on population and where everybody's at. And they want to make them fair. So right now, I serve about 55 to 60,000 people. And so we see how many people should be in each district, and from there, we divide those districts up. And in the House that I serve, there are 99 seats. And so we've got to divide them up in 99 different ways with hopefully the fair amount of people in each of those districts. And so that happened this last time, and the Republicans were in control. I'm a Democrat, and they got to draw the districts, and so they drew my district into 4 different pieces. So I couldn't serve what was the 37th anymore. That had changed so much that I had to choose which piece it was that I was going to go with. And so I chose the 43rd Assembly District, which had the piece that I serve now in it. I hope this isn't too confusing, but it has...
I'm trying to follow out.
Well, in the piece that I'm going with, it has the town of Koshkonong, the town of Sumner, and the town of Albion. So it has pieces of Jefferson County and Dane County. And so I've got a long history. That donkey's really going to town over there. But... he knows the Democrats here. But the thing is that was a good district for me. A part of my district that I chose was a good fit. At Lake Koshkonong, I was the first ever legislator of a friend of Koshkonong ever named for my extensive work and the improvements we've got there. In Sumner, I helped them get a generator because they wanted to be prepared for some of the natural disasters we've had in the past, from tornadoes to flooding of 2008. They want to be able to help the people that live in their township, and if anything should happen. In Albion, there was a intersection that was very, very bad, and I heard from so many people as I started doing this job that it was something that we needed to take control of, making improvements on. And so I got a stoplight in there, and it's right by the Oasis truck stop. And so I made that improvement there. So I have deep connections with the part that is in the new 43rd. And beyond that, I grew up on a dairy farm. So I'm right at home here today. And because of that, I'm able to serve rural communities very well. And this would be a very rural district. So a lot of farms. And I've always been, ever since I've gotten this job, been endorsed by the Farm Bureau of Wisconsin. And so it's a nice fit too. And having worked at General Motors in Janesville, that really serves me well as well because a lot of the residents of the 43rd have worked at the General Motors plant or had family that worked there or knew somebody who did. So I'm making a direct connection with many of those people. And then even serving the 37th, I have worked real well with the University of Whitewater. So the chancellor and myself, we worked on many issues on higher education, and so I'm hoping to continue that relationship. So it's a really good fit for me. And it all comes together on November 6th. So I'd appreciate anybody's vote. If you want to know more about my campaign, you can go to my website at andijorgensen.com.
I actually checked that out.
Did you really?
Yeah, I think I go to school with your son.
Really? Jens?
I think so.
Yeah. Are you a sophomore?
I am a junior.
You're a junior, so you're older than he is, but you probably do maybe share some classes with him.
Yeah.
Or see him in the hallway.
I see him talking to the driver's ed
Oh yes, yes you do. Yes you do. Yep. You see these gray hairs here? That was a result of him talking to that driver's ed teacher. No, he's going to get his license in November, or so he thinks.
Oh yes, so do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope
Oh,
so.
really?
Yeah.
Well, you were telling me you had a car that you're fixing up. Is that right?
Oh yeah, my dad bought that. A 1948 Ford.
Wow.
He got it from a friend, and because it was just laying on his farm, and so my dad's like, it could be a daughter-father thing, and he doesn't have sons; it's all girls.
Okay.
So I'm like the most tomboy.
Okay.
So-
well, that is exciting. I don't know any teenagers that are going to have a 48 Ford as their first car.
I'm hoping we get that done soon.
Yes. What color is it?
It was originally green
Okay.
or something like
Are you going
that.
to keep it green?
I think so. I kind of want to.
Okay.
It looks like a really nice green, but the rust is getting in, and we're trying to decide if we want it to keep it as like it's. I want to say it's a dump truck, or like the back.
Really?
The back is like a. My dad says it's like a dump truck or
Okay.
old dump truck, and he wants it to be a flatbed
Okay.
instead of that. So we're trying to decide now, and we gave it a nickname already. Its name is Mater,
Okay.
after the cars. So,
Sure.
Yep.
Well, that will turn a lot of heads, and it'll be a really neat memory for you. I remember my first car, not a 48 Ford. It was I don't know what year it was, but it was a green Comet. Not the most, I don't know, flashy car there ever was, but it did me well.
It gets you places.
Oh, sure. And when I went to college to become a radio announcer, that's another thing I did early on. I started out after high school, graduated high school, and I got into radio. And I was Andy Arbuckle in the morning on WFAW in Fort Atkinson. And have some great memories doing that. It was a lot of fun. I'd worked in the Fox Valley. I'd worked all over Wisconsin. And then I came here, and from radio then, I applied at General Motors in Janesville in 1995. At that time, they had like 5,000 employees, and from those 5,000 employees, they were going to hire 500. And so it was like a lottery a little bit. And so I took my chances, and I got in there. And boy, it was that was quite an
I
experience
toured
too.
that when I was little.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was quite interesting.
It's unbelievable. It's like a little city in there.
It's like they took a little car around with us, and it
Right.
was quite interesting.
Yeah, that was like a little train is what you were on.
Yep, yep, a little
and,
train.
yeah, I worked in what was called hard trim. And from there, then I became a shop steward, or a committee man, some people call. And I was a union steward. And I really got to learn how to get along with management. And that's really what a union does. There's a misconception that there's one side or another gets everything they want. Most people think it's a union. That's not true. It's just a mechanism. It's just a process of working things out, from safety to wages to benefits to working conditions, to make sure that everybody's at the table and they have an obligation to find a way to work things out, move things forward. So that's what I hope to do in the state legislature too, is try and find a way to fix things, to make things better, to adapt to the new things that are coming. You mentioned my son earlier. I mean, he's into technology, and how fast technology is going at almost the speed of light.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
mind-blowing.
and so with that, you have to keep up with it with laws that you have that maybe don't even, when they were made, had no idea that we were going to be on the internet or things like that. And that's what I've done too. Early on in my career as an assembly person, we came up with a law that made sure that sexual predators, when they're on the internet, they have to make sure they tell their parole officers where it is that they're on. And so if something should happen, we can track it down. And they did that with we're having the address of a person that had a sexual predator history, their phone number, but they didn't keep track of their email addresses or didn't keep track of their websites. So I made a law that updated that to keep up with that. So the people who prevent crimes and our authorities and police officers could have that as a tool to keep us safe.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary. I mean, I am always online, and there's sometimes on Facebook, random people want to be my friend, and it's like, don't know you.
That's right, Alex. And so it's nice to know that the authorities have this information to keep our young people, our children safe. And it's just one of those things, people ask, well, why can't we just keep laws the way they were 100 years ago? Well, it's just
things
not
are
possible.
different now.
Absolutely.
Things are totally different than like 10 years ago even.
Exactly.
That's why we have to change with the world. Just
right.
how it is.
And that law that I'm very proud of came from me listening at a listening session. I have hundreds of listening sessions. I do them from diners to town halls to machine sheds, wherever I can get a group of people together to give me their ideas. And that's an amazing thing about this job, is to be able to hear what other people think should be changed, their concerns, their ideas for our state to improve and get better and move forward. And I really try to concentrate on that. And I don't like the idea that it's Republicans versus Democrats. That doesn't make any sense. Good ideas don't know if they come from a Republican or a Democrat. They're just good ideas. And that's what we should get behind. We need to move in that direction a lot more than we do.
That's awesome. So you said you were raised on a farm.
That's right.
How do you like Busy Barn?
Oh, I love Busy Barn. My family and I have been here, come here a few times as they grow up. We haven't been here in a while, but we always loved coming here. It's really neat. The slide in the haymow was one of my kids' favorites. Of course, a corn maze is always a hit with any family. And, the hay rides and the food here is just amazing. So it's great. And just the story of this place and the family that runs it, that they want to make sure that you not only have fun here, but you learn a few things about agriculture.
Yeah. I love that this is like a family place. It's so friendly. And I have a 4-year-old nephew, and he was just here, and he loves this place. He's been here before, and it's nonstop talking about it. And like a couple months after he's been here, I'm sure I'm going to hear about it, and just randomly. It's just, I've never been here before.
Really?
Never. I'm so jealous of all the little kids. I was jealous of my nephew, actually.
Yeah, it's an amazing place, and I really respect the fact that they teach you a lot of things about agriculture, and because agriculture is a big part of our state. And it always will be, in my opinion. I think, we have manufacturing, tourism, and agriculture. Those are the top three. And if we don't teach our youth about agriculture, who will? I mean, if this place didn't exist and didn't tell us about all the different things, where the food comes from, what pigs eat, and things like that, you think about that, well, then how would they find out about some of these things?
Right.
It just doesn't just happen. That's why I like the vision, the mission of this great place, this fun place, and I'm so proud to have it in this area.
Yeah, and it's such a great day.
Oh.
You could not ask for a better day.
I know. This is beautiful with the trees changing over there.
Oh, yeah.
It's very picturesque today as well.
This is like my favorite part of the year, that and spring.
Really?
Because it's like mellow, it's nice, and
Right.
just colors are changing.
Right.
And
You might have to grab a jacket, but so what?
Yeah, it's perfect weather to wear sweatshirts and just go.
Yep, that's right. So do you have an interest in radio at some point?
I do, actually. That's why I joined this. When I was little, I used to listen to a different radio station, and I'm like, I want to be like those. And so I thought that the radio hosts wore pajamas to their work.
Where did you get that from?
I don't know. I was little, like I said. And I thought they wore like buddy slippers, and they sat in beanbag chairs while they were on the radio. So I thought it was gonna be fun. But so far, I don't wear pajamas to this. I mean, there's no beanbag chairs yet, but it's so far really fun.
Yeah, it
I
is.
like it.
You meet a lot of different, really neat people too.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish you well in your career in radio. It sounds like it's going to be a bright one at that. Radio is a lot of fun when I was in it. You got to like to talk, and I think you do.
I do once I warm up and get used to that there's a mic in my face and people are listening to me. It's just, you just got to warm up to it, I guess.
And as a talk show host, and I think you'd be a great one, you just got to be curious. You just got to have a lot of questions. You just want to know more about what it is your guest is doing and what they want to change and what it is that makes them tick. And I think you're good at it.
Just like my dad, I have a lot of little silly trivia history in my mind, and like, it's just, I want more like little facts.
Well, everybody loves trivia. That's always a good thing too. Mm-hmm. I know I do. But so I think it's great that you're going into radio. I'm honored to have been on your show today. This is really neat, and a beautiful day like this, it's almost like out of a movie.
I can't wait to do pumpkin carvings at my house.
Oh, Are you into that?
We never really done it, but this year I'm going to force my family to, just because I say so.
Well, you can get into some real elaborate things. I don't know. On Facebook, I've seen some pictures. And we've also tried to take some of those on, too, where you get the stencil and
Yeah.
you try to, really get into it. And when you light it up, it really can turn out nice. But like you, this is one of my favorite times of the year. My birthday is in this time of year, so that helps.
Oh, mine's in the winter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I always wanted it in the summer.
Yeah, I'm a September baby, but it's always been a fun time. I always have fond memories. I like the leaves changing, the weather getting a little cooler, sun going down early, and then Halloween, and then then Thanksgiving right behind it, and it just kicks into gear. But I would hope that people could just check me out, get to know me. See my history in the assembly. I'm a moderate. I call myself. I'm a Democrat, but I just like to work things out. I know we're going to come from different places sometimes. Alex, we're going to see things differently, but I don't ever believe there's not a chance that we can't find something on just about every subject that we can agree on, and that's my hope. We've had some real tumultuous times in the Capitol in the last 2 years. That's true. But after it was over, I met with the governor. I met with him twice. And why did I do that? I did that to find out where it was that we could agree. And that's important to me. And so we can move forward, and we don't have to be divided like this. And we can find a way to serve the people of Wisconsin, because that's what they want. As I knock on doors throughout the new district, I find that people just want us to get together and get things done, and that's it.
So you said, get to know you?
Yes.
And I did look up on your website,
Okay.
and I did see a picture of your family with your son. I think
Yes.
that was your family, right?
Yes, yep,
Because
that's
I
it.
noticed your son. Do you guys do, FFA or 4-H? And
Oh, gosh, yes. We are in 4-H. We are in the Barnyard Clovers. And that's a big thing with me, because as a kid, when I grew up on the farm, that was the biggest thing. I barely ever got off the farm. I was always working. Whether it was baling hay or cleaning calf pens or doing chores, I was always there. But when you're on a farm, one of the nice things about it is you get to go to the county fair and you get to show some calves. And that was always a big thing for me. Now, we live in the city, and so I had to, we have to change things around. We didn't have, but we have some really nice farmers that live in and around Fort Atkinson, and that's where we've taken some calves from and shown their cattle. And so my kids, Cameron and Miles, showed some calves this last year, and they always do, and it's a great experience. You get to do chores on the farm, or in the fair for a week. You get to live off fair food for a week. Nothing wrong with that. And it's just a great experience. And so now as a dad, I'm just as proud as I was when I was a boy to be able to do that. The calves that I showed, I know their names, Abigail and Hildegard. And they were some of the best heifers I've ever known.
I wish I was in 4-H.
Really?
I'm in town. I live in town, so it's kind of hard to, get into the thing.
Well, it's never too late.
I know, but the thing is, I just don't know what to do. I want to do 4-H horseless. So.
Well, I know there's a lot of people in our community that would love to make you a part of that and get you see where you want to go with that. I think you should. I think you should at least check it out.
I miss horses a lot. I haven't seen them in 4 months or
Really?
something. I have to go 5 hours away just to pet one.
Oh, poor horses. It's each animal has its own personality, it seems, and horses are very smart. They
Too smart for their.
Yeah, own good sometimes. Yes. And they are, unlike cows, they have teeth on the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
And they know how to use them. Not just chewing. Anyway, because we used to, on the farm, we used to have another farmer down the road that boarded horses in the wintertime, because in the summer he would then rent them to camps and all that.
Yeah.
And so we would take one every once in a while and put them with our cows. And that horse would make sure that they knew that they were boss in the old barnyard. But it was kind of neat for us to be able to ride a horse for a few months out of the year and just have a horse and experience it. My parents were big on that. We had sheep for a little while. We had chickens. We had pigs, and sometimes would take these to the fair. And so it was always an experience.
So you tried out a lot of different things. So right now we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we'll be back soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. You're listening to the Teen Day Busy Barnes Adventure Farm Media Day broadcast, presented by 91.7 The Edge Daily Union and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
How long has it been since you felt the rush of stretching your arm across the foul line, releasing a 10-pound ball, anxiously watching it roll down the alley, anticipating a strike, only to see it bounce into the gutter? Quartermania at Rock River Lanes in Fort Atkinson can help relive those memories and create new ones. They also have banquet services and Kingpin Adventure Golf.
Details and information are available by visiting rockriverlanes.com or calling 920-563-9511. That's rockriverlanes.com or 920-563-9511.
Since 1988, Diversified Personnel Services has been connecting motivated people with top employers in Jefferson, Dodge, and Dane County, along with Lake Country and the surrounding areas. Employers who partner with DPS fund vital vocational programs for youth and adults with disabilities and other barriers to employment.
More information about DPS is available by contacting Ann Dancourt at 920-563-2437 or visiting dpsworks.com. That's 920-563-2437 or dpsworks.com.
UW-Whitewater's campus radio station, 91.7 The Edge WSUW, is hosting the 91.7 The Edge Teen Day broadcasting program this fall. The program gives 12 teens the opportunity to try out broadcasting before college. Support our efforts by keeping up on upcoming broadcasts at dailyunion.com and listening to the broadcast online at 917theedge.com. Thank you.
Now back to the Teen Day Busy Barnes Adventure Farm Media Day broadcast. Presented by 91.7 The Edge, Daily Union, and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. And we're back with Andy Jorgensen. I would like to discuss about your top issues and concerns.
Well, I have a few of them. First of all, jobs. Jobs are on the top concern as I meet a lot of people in this new district, and even in my district that I currently serve, jobs are a big thing. A lot of people have lost their jobs and been out of work for a while now, and they really want our state to be concentrating on how we can work together to create more jobs. Second thing is education. Without a good education, you can't get a good job. That's just the way it is. And so we have to fully fund public education. We have to make it affordable for a young person to go on to higher education and create opportunities so people can have a good education and be what they want to be. And then the third thing is this last session, a program that's very near and dear to my heart, senior care, was under attack, and it was my honor to lead the way in protecting that, and I want to make it secure for future generations. It's something that we do right as a state. Our seniors are able to buy life-saving drugs in an affordable way. There's Medicare Part D. You've probably heard of that, Alex. That's what the rest of the nation is on. In Wisconsin, we have our own program. We're the only state that has senior care. And this last session, the governor and the Republicans in the Assembly and the Senate, they tried to dismantle it as we know it. And so what I did is I got the word out. And I got real passionate about it, and I decided to do a petition drive. And I got over 14,000 signatures in just a month's time from all over the state. People had heard about this, and not just seniors, but people who are family members of seniors that know that their mom or dad, or their grandma or grandpa are on this program, and know how important it is to them that they rose up and they joined me, and we made a loud voice, and we brought the signatures, 14,000 of them, so you can imagine what that looks like, put them in boxes, and we brought them up, and I was going to deliver them to the governor, the majority leader, and the speaker. And as I was rolling the carts down the aisle, they called their own press conference and said, we were never going to shut down senior care as we know it. That's not going to happen. Well, good. And my question to them would be, why did you put in the budget to do that? But anyway, the good news is that senior care for the next few years will be intact, but we need to make it, my hope is to make it permanent, and would be even better would be to put it on a national scale, because it's something that, because we're able to negotiate with those drug companies and get their lowest price, we're able to keep those prices affordable for our seniors. Now on jobs, I have a few jobs bills. A couple of them that I'd like to talk about are the make bills. You know, you've probably heard people say in frustration, we don't make anything anymore, because that's what I hear all the time. Well, these make bills, that stands for marketing, manufacturing, and keeping employees. And I got those bills by touring just a few miles from down the road, Aztalon Engineering. I talked to the factory owner. I said, what can we do to help? Because they were expanding, and they needed to fill their new expansion with workers. And I said, what can we do to help with that? Well, he said, we go to these different trade shows all over America, and we don't have the staff to be able to do that, nor the money, but we noticed that some other states are going on behalf of the factories within their state, and they're there to represent us. Do you think our state would be able to do that? And so that's what that bill is all about. So we can go to other states at these trade shows, and a potential client can say, hey, do you make widget X? And our state, the person that's represented us says, sure we do. We have these 3 factories. And they make it really good, and here's their history. And you know what? Soon after that, contracts will be signed, and then soon after that, people will be put to work. That's how it works in the manufacturing world. That's what I learned. And so that was a bill that I fought real hard for this last session. And it did get a lot of support back and forth, but we didn't get it done because of the polarization up at the Capitol. But we're going to work on that, and we're going to get that done, and I know we can do it. It's an idea that we use for tourism. We use it for the dairy industry in our state, different trade shows. We make sure people know that Wisconsin milk and cheese is the best. We go to trade shows and talk about, of course, Wisconsin Dells and hopefully Busy Barn Farms in other states to let people know that's what's here. Same thing in manufacturing. We want to get it out there what we make here and how we're very proud of the manufacturers that make whatever it is that somebody wants. And then education. Education took a hit. Alex, there was a cut of $1.6 billion in education. Wow. In technical schools, we're cut $73 million, and we need to turn that around. We need, because a good education, like I said, is a direct connection to a good job. And we cannot afford to not make that a priority. And so I want to fight hard to make sure that, because when we budget our money as a state, it's all about priorities. What's the most important that you want to fight for? And I'll tell you, education is a big one with me, because all good things from having a good education, they come from having a good education.
Yeah, you seem very passionate about this. Sitting right next to you, I could just tell you're like, I want people to know, and
right.
You just seem like you're really... it's in your mind, and now you got to do it.
Right.
You're straightforward. You're
and
go towards it.
A lot of folks come up to the Capitol, and it just always puzzles me that I don't know what it is that they want. I should know that. I want to make sure that everyone knows what it is Andy Jorgensen wants to supply or wants to get for the district that I serve. And I think it's my job to do that, and to let people know about what it is within the district and the places that are there, the businesses, and what's important to me, because that's what I'm there for. There's 99 of us, Alex. And so what's funny about that is that whatever subject we're talking about, there could be 99 different opinions about it, because we come from all different parts of the state. Mm-hmm. And so I always make sure that people know what it is that I want, and how, and hopefully that they'll join me in getting it, and how it can be beneficial to them as well.
Now, I'm just curious. In your District 43, is there any other like Busy Barns or type of Busy Barns do you know of?
No, nothing quite like Busy Barns, no. But there's all kinds of unique businesses from Milton to Edgerton, and different events too that happen throughout that district. In Whitewater, it's all very, very different. But you know, in many ways, though, we're all together in this. So we have different districts, and these invisible lines are the different districts. But you know what? We're all in the same ship, and that goes for Republicans and Democrats. It's not like if one side wins, we all win. We don't. We have to find a way to do things together more than we have. And so this area, even though it's a different numbered district, it's really, we're all family, and it's just a few miles down the road, and it's something I'm very proud of. And I've never, when I was working in a factory, even as a young person as yourself, I never really knew much about the assembly. It wasn't until I got older and I was working and I became a father is really what did it. Because I wanted to find out how I could make opportunities or keep opportunities for my kids when they got to be my age. And so that's how I got involved in it. And so there's all kinds of different unique places throughout each one of these districts. And it's a job as a representative to tout about those different things and to be proud of them. And hopefully people come visit the farm or the business that you're talking about.
Do you buy local?
Oh, yes. And I buy American, too. Having worked at the General Motors plant, it's a big thing with me making sure I drive an American-made car. And if I see two pieces of whatever, clothing or whatever, mm-hmm. I'll check the tag to make sure it's made in the United States. And if it's a couple bucks more, not a problem. Because I know that money then stays in our United States. Mm-hmm. Or even better would be to be here in Wisconsin, because it stays in our community. And it helps us out, our friends and neighbors. And so, yes, that's a big one with me. Funny you should bring it up.
I read it on your website.
Well, that's where you got it from.
Yep.
Here, I thought that came out of nowhere. Oh, I heard from the audience that there's a Buy American bill. It's a bill that I want to bring up this next session. It's important to me. We have a law that helps us keep jobs, services right now in the United States. A colleague of mine, Mark Pocan, who's now running for Congress, he had a bill that said, well, first of all, I'll tell you where it came from. He had people call him and said, I called one of our state agencies and I wanted some help on something. And before I knew it, I was talking to someone in India. Why are my tax dollars through whatever agency it was? That's not important, but they called and they found out that they weren't talking to someone in Wisconsin, but even worse, or in the United States, they were out of the country. So we have a bill, or that became law 2 sessions ago, that says we got to have our services done in America whenever possible, and it should always pretty much be possible to do that. But the other thing we didn't get the last time was the products that we use. So if we're building a bridge, we want the beams and all the different materials that build that bridge to come from the United States. There's a trend, Alex, to get those from China, to have it assembled, pre-assembled, brought over on a boat, and then put a bridge up here in America. I don't know about you, but I just find that that's concerning to me because that's taking jobs away, and it's using tax dollars to do that. So this bill says we need to buy these products. When we're building our infrastructure, we need to buy it here in America.
I'm kind of agree with that because, like with the jobs, my parents talk about it, and so.
Right. Well, and the federal government already does this, but there are some states. So if the federal government says, yes, we're going to help you, Wisconsin, build that bridge, the federal government then requires you to build that bridge with American-made products. But we don't have that says that on the state level. And so it's important that we do that. But even in the federal government with that rule, it's interesting, California has said, you know what? We're not going to use the federal money to do it. We're going to use our own money so we can just go directly to China. And that concerns me. So I think as a state, we need to stand up for American-made products. We need to make that a priority. And we need to make that a law to make sure that when we use our tax money, we're going to use it for jobs and products right here in America.
What have you done in the legislature? That's a tough word for me.
Legislature?
I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes I use legislator, or when I mean to say legislature, I get it. Yeah, me too.
What are you proud of what you've done?
Well, there are a lot of stories that you don't read about in the paper. A lot of people call my office and they ask me, Andy, this just happened. My electricity they shut off my electricity. What should I do? I'm not able to pay my hospital bill. Can you help me? And you know what? Sometimes these conversations I have with individuals can seem pretty daunting, but I try my best on each one of them. And I try to, I don't say, oh, you know what, I'm a legislator. I don't really that's not really part of my job. I never allow myself to say that. I say, you know what, I'm going to try and see what I can do to help. And so there are a lot of stories in the back of my mind that don't have to do with legislation or laws being made. They just have to do with someone who was just coming to me on a whim or as a last resort, and just because they know I was accessible, that they tried calling my office. And in some of those cases, because I didn't say no or didn't send them away, I was able to help them. Mm-hmm. And that's what really is my biggest accomplishments. And they're personal ones. So each one's different, and those are the things that I'm very proud of. And I guess on top of that is how I got there. For those people to call me are the different listening sessions I have. Like I said, I have them all over the district, from diners to town halls to kitchen tables. And we are able to find ideas, find problems that we can solve together. Excuse me.
Everybody has a cold now.
Mine's a big one. That dry air is getting to me. Mm-hmm. But if you want to learn more about my campaign, like you did, Alex, you can always go to AndyJorgensen.com. That's AndyJorgensen. That's all one word, and you can check me out, and you can check out the new district. You can see what makes me tick. You can see what's important to me, and you can also contact me too, and you can call me at home as well. So I'm very accessible. I don't like this idea that when you only get to a candidate only when they're running for something. I like to be accessible all year round. And so I try to be as many places as I can and try to give people as many tools as they can use, from my website to my phone number to get a hold of me and see if I can help.
Wow, that's super friendly.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. was kind of the way I was raised. Back on the farm, we had people come in. My dad used to own a feed mill, and so a lot of farmers would want to know different recipes for different feeds and different. We had a little machine that checked out your corn moisture, and so they had that. So they would stop over all the time. My dad was almost like a doctor, a farmer doctor, if you will, and it was a wealth of information. So people would always just come walking into our house, not even knock, because we're all friends, and that's the way it was on the farm. And I would sit down with my dad, and they would talk about things, and sometimes all day long, and get things worked out. And so I think that's where I get this from. This idea that I just like to have an open door. I have a slogan that I use, my door is always open. And it is, and I'm very proud of that. And I don't know how you would do this job if you didn't have a way of making sure people weren't afraid or felt you didn't care and didn't bring their thoughts and ideas and concerns to you.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's so great to be here.
Yeah.
And I hope your cold gets better. And
I hope yours does.
I'm hoping
or at
to.
least subsides.
I know. I'm doing a lot of talking these days, so I got to keep it up.
Good luck on your election, and
Okay.
hope for the best.
All right. Well, and one more time, AndyJorgensen.com. And I'd sure appreciate, if you are in the new 43rd District, I'd appreciate your vote on November 6th. Thanks for having me, Alex.
Thanks for being here.
Hi, I'm Nate from The Edge 91.7 Teen Day Broadcasting Program. Thank you, Mr. Virgil, for stopping by today for our Busy Barns Teen Day broadcast. I'd like to talk with you about agriculture in Wisconsin.
Okay, thank you for inviting me out to a Busy Barn today and doing this interview. It's a very good pleasure so that I could come out and meet my fellow Jefferson County people that I used to know and grow up in. Plus, here's one thing that I'm going to give you. I used to be an FFA member in the great city of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin.
First, could you please state which office you are running for?
Well, I'm running to be the representative for the 33rd Assembly District here in the great state of Wisconsin.
Please tell us a little background about yourself.
Well, a little background about myself. I am a native of Fort Atkinson. I grew up and was raised here. I grew up out in the country, by the way, but not on a farm. I did work on farms as I was a youth, so I do have a little bit of extensive background on being a farm kid or farmer. And I will also tell you, I was in the United States Marine Corps right after I got out of high school. I was a railroad conductor here in the great state of Wisconsin. And I am presently now seeking to be the representative for the 33rd Assembly District.
What, in your opinion, is the state of agriculture in Wisconsin today?
Today, it's a very good industry. Matter of fact, it's the key background of the great state of Wisconsin as an industry. Matter of fact, there are more products that come out of farming than many people believe or even understand, such as most of our plastics come from actually corn. Our bioproduct, which is fuel, like biodiesel, which is used by the trucking industry and the agricultural industry. Plus, we have wind power, which we use to produce our electricity. And yes, that is an agricultural product, by the way. And here's one other thing, too. Anybody that drives a car and uses E85 will use corn product from the great state of Wisconsin.
What are its strengths and what are its weaknesses today?
The very strongest point is we do need agriculture immensely here in the United States of America. Wisconsin is one of the leading producers of agricultural products here. Yes, some people would argue with California, but I would say no. I would say our products are a lot better and a lot more productive in nutrition and in forms of building the state and building the economy for the state.
What is the legislature doing to assist farmers in the state of Wisconsin with the drought?
What we're doing to assist with the drought, right now I cannot answer that question due to the fact I'm not in the legislation, but here's one idea that I do have to come up with. We could help subsidize the farmers here in the state of Wisconsin, help them produce a crop for 2013.
How can the state legislature keep family farms going with the increase of large dairies in the area?
Number one, we could ease laws that make it a little bit more convenient for the small farmer to exist. That there is a very key point to make out and to bring out. I'm glad that you did ask that question, because here's one thing. I grew up in community such as Fort Atkinson, Jefferson County, where there are a lot of small farmers. And we need to have that industry here in order to be a good economic growing state.
How can the state of Wisconsin assist students wanting to get a 4-year agricultural degree?
There's a couple ways of doing it. Number one is to use what Governor Walker would say would be the surplus to help in that area. And number two, maybe we could look at lowering the cost of education here in the state of Wisconsin by helping the farmer out that way. Or we could even come up with scholarships or other means, such as a state grant.
In your opinion, should the state supplement dairy farmers' milk checks based on higher protein and higher fat?
Yes, I do agree with that 100%, because here's one thing. You are rewarding the farmer for producing a good crop and a good yield.
In your opinion, should there be any regulation on the amount of herbicides or pesticides used in farming?
I believe that there should be some, because there are groundwater contaminations. There are also runoff from all kinds of other stuff. When I grew up as a kid, we used herbicides and pesticides on the farms that I was working with.
How do you feel about feed additives being used to increase growth in animals?
I kind of waver two ways on that. Number one, I don't exactly like the idea, because I believe that if you promote growth of cattle too fast, you're going to produce bad yield and bad cattle for the consumer.
Agricultural side, what are the top 3 issues as a lawmaker, if elected, feel this Assembly and Senate must address?
Number one is the economic growth here in the great state of Wisconsin. That's the foremost. And in saying that, I believe that the farmers or those who produce agricultural crops here in the state should be put on the front of the list, not in the back. Because here's one other thing. When I talk to different business people out in the business community, such as the number 6 business guru and the number 11th business guru in the world, they talk about, and we do talk about, these things that we need to do, such as fixing the agricultural community here in the great state of Wisconsin. Growing up in a historical area such as Jefferson County, like I did, is very good proof that agriculture is needed and still needs to go. Because if you look at the history of farming and agriculture here in the state, we're one of the best. Matter of fact, I would consider our state to be the best, better than California.
Is there anything else you would like to tell our radio audience?
Yes. Take a look at all the issues out there, especially that issues that pertain to your area. Not just areas that are urban areas such as Milwaukee or Madison or Green Bay or Appleton or Oshkosh, but look at the farming community in the whole. I grew up in this area. I was a member of the FFA. And I know for a fact that if legislature does not look at this industry, Wisconsin is no longer going to be a leading state for anything. We need to be the model state and move forward, just like our model says. Forward we will move on.
Thank you so very much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and comments.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Teen Day Busy Barns Adventure Farm Media Day broadcast, presented by 91.7 The Edge Daily Union and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
Two Rivers Bicycle and Outdoor sells popular bike brands, repairs all makes and models, and provides bicycle, paddle, and snow sport rentals. They offer indoor cycling classes led by certified instructors to stay fit during fall, winter, and early spring months. Located along the bike path at 102 West Sherman Avenue in Fort Atkinson.
For details, please visit tworiversbicycle.com or call 920-563-2222. Again, that's 920-563-2222.
Since 1973, the Fort Atkinson Community Foundation has made grants of over $13 million for educational, cultural, and charitable purposes for the Fort Atkinson area. Recipients use them to enhance their quality of life. The foundation also has a wide variety of scholarships available to Fort Atkinson area residents and Fort Atkinson high school graduates. During the last 3 fiscal years, the foundation has more grants than have averaged more than $1.2 million per year. In the past year alone, nearly $230,000 in scholarships were awarded to high school graduates and continuing education students. Various citizens have volunteered their time to write a column for the local newspaper, the Daily Jefferson County Union. Fort Foundation Focus explains certain aspects of the foundation and discuss some of the projects that it funds. Details on how to donate or apply for a grant are available at thefortfoundation.org or by calling 920-563-3210. That's fortfoundation.org or 920-563-3210.
UW Whitewater's campus radio station, 91.7 The Edge WSUW, is hosting the 91.7 The Edge Teen Day broadcasting program this fall. The program gives 12 teens the opportunity to try out broadcasting before college. Support our efforts by keeping up on upcoming broadcasts at dailyunion.com and listening to the broadcast online at 917theedge.com. Thank you.
Now back to the Teen Day Busy Barnes Adventure Farm Media Day broadcast, presented by 91.7 The Edge, Daily Union, and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and I have some additional questions for Mr. Virgil. With the new bypass, how do you feel that affected the city and agriculture in general, and was it really a necessity?
Can you repeat that question, please?
With the new bypass, how do you feel that's affected cities and agriculture in general, and do you feel it's a necessity?
Well, I'm going to answer it this way, and the best thing with the 26 bypass. 26 bypass was actually needed because, number one, there was so much traffic going through these small towns, such as Fort Atkinson, that you couldn't really get through at all. This bypass is effective and it does work, and communities will grow because they will stretch out to the bypass and they will bring in more businesses that way. I believe that, yes, it was a good idea. No, I think the farming community kind of didn't benefit from it, but it's a 50-50 situation right there, and you got to look at it in an economic value in a whole, because economically the 26 bypass would have said, okay, we're going to put it in, but certain towns didn't like it because they felt that it was going to ruin their town, but not really. Because here's a great example. When I grew up in Fort Atkinson, first was here, there was only 6,000 people. And that was back in the 60s. Okay, when I graduated high school, there was close to 9,000 people in the city of Fort Atkinson. That's a pretty good growth. But since then, since the bypass has come in, there's at least 15 to 17,000 people that live there now. Plus, look at the industry that come in. Yes, I understand that some farms had to suffer from it. But it's a flip of the coin. Which way do you got to go? You got to go with something that's going to make some people happy and some people aren't going to be happy.
If and when you're elected, what can we expect from you while in office?
There's one thing that you can expect of me while in office. Number one, I've talked to people on the campaign. I actually asked them to come and visit me in office so that I could get and understand what they would like to see, so we could talk about these issues. I feel that I am employed by the people, not me telling the people what to do as a representative. I feel that proper representation means that I will represent you in the best manner that I can. Of course, there are a lot of different bills and stuff that I'd have to look at and decide, okay, is this good for the state of Wisconsin? Is this good for agriculture? Because I'm very big in agriculture, because I believe agriculture is the key to economic recovery. Because, number one, you look at all the products that come from the agricultural industry. So I'd be looking at that stuff very much. Growing up in Fort Atkinson, I saw a lot of different stuff as a child develop in the city. So I've seen the history. I've seen what happens. Yes, as an FFA member too, I like what's going on out here with the FFA, because this promotes education. This is fun for the kids. They also learn. So in my opinion, what I'm going to do for this district is develop this district even more. This is a great district to live in, and it's going to remain that way. This district here, the 33rd, is going to be moving forward.
How did you become a libertarian candidate?
Okay, that's a very easy answer for me to question for me to answer. Number one, I was an independent candidate for governor of the great state of Wisconsin. And what they did, they were listening to what I was saying. They liked what I was saying. They realized that, hey, this is a great candidate for us to put on the ticket, but we have another candidate that we wanted as governor, so I decided to run. And I said, okay, fine, I'll run as the lieutenant governor. He didn't make the ballot. I had to run for both jobs, of course. And I still admire the fact that, hey, liberty is what we need. I fought for it when I was in the military, and I'm going to keep on fighting for liberty and freedom, even as I am running for office in here in the 33rd Assembly. I believe in the people here in the 33rd. I love to see the people, and I love to meet with the people, and I love to actually be part of their community.
That's a good point you made there. Is there anybody you know that opposes your ideals that is not running against you?
Not exactly right now, but I could think of some people that are probably Democrats and some Republicans that would oppose my ideas, because I believe in freedom versus government control, government mandates. I know for a fact that anybody that's Democrat would probably vote against me or be against me. But here's the other thing that I bring to the table to those that are Democrats and Republicans that might oppose me. Bring your ideas to me. Let's talk about it. And then this is what I want to do. Let's see if we can find some kind of happy medium that will work. It's the same thing with those that are special interest groups. Now, a lot of people ask me why I don't side with special interest groups. Number one, not 90, but I'm going to say about 50% of them are small, very small interests. They will not affect the state at all. What they need to do is come to me with a majority. I'd rather talk to the majority of the people and get things done according to the way the majority would, even if I disagree with them. If they come up with 51% of the population saying this is what we want, but if I disagree, I guess I'm going to have to do what a good representative would do, vote in favor of the 51%.
So you used to work on farms in the area. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Yes, it was very enjoyable. Yes, it was hard work. Yes, I did not get exactly the best pay in the world, but I got a good education. I got the great education of hands-on and learning how to handle animals, handle crops, drive tractors, of course, and how to operate farm machinery. And I also learned one thing, too, how important agriculture is to the state of Wisconsin and to the United States of America, because agriculture is the backbone of our economy, the backbone of the growth of this nation. This is the way our nation should grow, by using agriculture, and using agriculture to show that the rest of the world that we are better in this field.
For upcoming youth that wants to be a farmer, such as myself, what advice could you give us for maybe to get a leg up on things?
The best advice I could give you is to really get books and start reading books. That is the very first thing I would say, because here's the one thing. I read books when I was a youth. I read books on different stuff. I read books on, for example, President Lincoln. I modeled, and a lot of times people say I'm a duplicate copy of President Lincoln. Now, why is that? Well, number one, my parents have the same disability as his parents did. I didn't split logs, but I had to teach myself how to read and write, and it wasn't easy. I'm in law school right now, studying law, and I've had compliments from my professors and saying, hey, you need to be in the advanced law classes because this is too easy for you. And I happen to agree with that because it is boring for me. And the number one thing is, what I would tell your kids to do is to learn. Go to school. Learn education. Learn from your parents. Let your parents be your guide in the field of agriculture. If you want to be in the farming business or in any agriculture, such as a veterinarian or something like that, that's what you got to do. You got to be able to get the books out and start reading. You could go to school, which is fine, but hands-on is the best tool, because you're going to learn how to handle yourself in that situation.
That makes a lot of. That's a good point to make there. I mean, my grandparents own a farm out in Exonia, and it just intrigued me. I've always wanted to get into farming, more not so much as with dairy, but more in the crops.
Well, that's a very good thing. Now, if you want to get into crops, you better go learn, and you better read on how to develop good crops. When I was a child, believe it or not, if we got 250 bushels per acre on any cornfield or anything or any cornfield, That was good. Now you got to strive for at least 300 to 350 bushels per acre. You got to figure out how to do it. You got to be actually more or less farming engineers. And the farming engineer will be the best grower here in the future. I believe if the farmer in 2013 comes into this field, they will do real good if they learn to go use education, go to college and learn that stuff too. Book reading is good, but a hands-on is even better, because here's the thing of this: you'll learn more.
I know they say that what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, with farming without using pesticides, and that for anybody getting discouraged, what advice could you give them?
To keep trying. And there's the reason why I keep saying keep trying. When I was in the United States Marine Corps doing what I did for the United States of America, sometimes the battlefield didn't look very good, but we kept going forward and we kept doing it. I've told you earlier that education is the real key. People need to get educated. The people from the city actually have to come out to the farms and actually look and see what's going on. What is necessary to make that crop grow? What is good for your yields? Because if you don't use pesticides and all of a sudden you got a problem with the insects and you don't have the same yield, you're going to have people starving in the streets without that yield. You're going to have people running out of gasoline. You're going to have people that won't have CDs. You won't have CD players. So you got to be able to look at that in a whole. Because here's the thing: a lot of stuff is made out of corn, soybeans, and a lot of stuff is supplemented in your daily diet with corn and soybeans. You look at your cereals. Most of your cereals are what? Corn. And soybeans come into play in a lot of your stuff that you eat daily, including your meats and stuff like that. So that's the thing you got to look at. You got to look at farming as a huge industry that needs to be educated. Coming out to Busy Barns is a great educational tool. I am very proud of this place. I'm very proud of the fact that it's in Jefferson County, because Jefferson County is the best county for historical facts in the agricultural industry. Many people don't know it. I asked that question today on if people knew about the history of this area. That's the other thing, advice that I give for kids. Learn your history in the agricultural area.
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming out. That's all we have for the time right now.
Thank you for inviting me to come out here today. This is a great day to come out to Busy Barns, to meet all the people, to meet me, because I would really love to meet the people and get to know them, and get them to understand who I am, and to come out and ask me questions, and I'd like to hear what they have to say. Now, I really love what Busy Barns has done. You just got to come out here between now and Halloween. That's when it's open. It's open daily like this. It's a great educational tool. The kids can have fun. The parents can learn something. And the kids will really enjoy learning too, because there are a lot of stuff. I see things out here that I've never seen before. And the smiles on the hay with the bugs and stuff. I see these horses out here that need to get ridden by the kids. I see a lot of pumpkins out here. And folks, Jefferson County really, really has a great tool here with Busy Barns. I believe in it. I believe that this is going to be a great place to have for educational tools in the agricultural area. I believe if people come out here and learn from the agriculture area, it will help our economy grow in the great state of Wisconsin. Meeting people from Chicago, even as far as the great state of Missouri, meeting people from Madison, Milwaukee. I met people from even northern Wisconsin here, talking to them. Yes, they say, well, your district won't be able to help. Yes, my district will be able to help those people in the northern part of the state, and also in the state of Illinois and Missouri, because hey, if Wisconsin, it has the best agricultural area, and with Busy Barns showing and doing that from now until October 31st, people just come out and visit. You just never know what you're going to learn. Learning is the biggest and key tool for all this. I love seeing the kids having fun, and thank you one more time for inviting me to come out.
I'm here with
Kiara.
And how old are you?
I'm 11. I'm going to be 12 next week.
Ah, so happy early birthday. And she's going to be doing a trivia question so she can win a handy dandy Daily Union pen. How many slices of pizza does each person in America eat on an average year?
I have no idea.
Pick a random number.
10,000? Wait, what?
You want to try again?
Yeah.
How many slices of pizza does each person in America can eat at an average pizza a year?
More than 10,000. More.
One person.
Oh, I've seen.
One person. There you go. Confusion.
Almost like 3 large pizzas to themselves.
So it's under 10,000.
36?
Whoa, you're so close. It was 46. But because I'm nice and the Daily Union is nice, you can still get the pen.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're listening to 91.7 FM, WSUW Whitewater.